New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Welcome to Ministers Talking a weekly program where Rev Briz and Rev Z and their guests chat about current affairs, world events, spiritual principles, and any old they want to talk about. Based on the New Thought philosophy and ancient wisdoms, Ministers Talking shares a visionary perspective of the evolving spiral called spiritual living. Join us each week as we explore the emerging paradigm of life on planet Earth and beyond.
And hello again, dear ones. Dr. Robert with you over here.
And Reverend Michael, guest host today.
Yeah.
Over here.
And this is Ministers Talking Shit for Friday, August 30th, 2024. Rev Z is traveling again this week. And so the role of special guest hosts continues. And I got to tell you, folks, we're not even 2 minutes in and I'm already starting to wonder what the hell I got myself into this morning.
What? What are you talking about, Dr. Brzezinski?
I'm not really sure. That's the problem. We don't know. We're not really sure what we're talking about yet.
Oh, okay.
We've been talking this morning, but we don't know what about.
Well, some things. I actually do prep for my show on Friday evenings, the Friday evening fireside chat here, 6 o'clock Mountain Time, 8 o'clock Eastern, here on your New Thought Media Network. And I was just, I was going through the what now?
We're going to plug our shows. Is that what we're talking about?
I'm saying I was doing prep work, which actually, so what I usually do the first thing on a Friday morning before a show is I go through the news and I see what's interesting to talk about this week, and to edit out some of the stuff to try to take a look at things that are not on the radar. Yes. So for me, the one thing I've been thinking about is, with this political season coming up, is how to assist, navigate, support the people in our spiritual communities through this. Because what I've been noticing is just a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of confusion. Go ahead.
Sign up. Sign up for the 100 Days of Mindful Practice with myself and about 40 other. See, we are just here plugging our shows today. And about 40 other wonderful, amazing New Thought leaders. But I'm going to say it. Text join to 470-784-0250. And I'm not saying this just because I'm involved, folks. I'm saying this because I look forward to that phone call every morning. Comes in at 8 o'clock Mountain Time, which means 10 o'clock for you East Coasters. And yeah, it's a little early for the West Coasters, but you're West Coasters. You're used to that. So and it's really wonderful to hear to take just a few minutes of really authentic mindfulness around love and courage and other spiritual principles that we already teach, and that most of us are already, I say most of us, but we are already living,
right?
And reinforce those as a way to jumpstart our day. So yes, by all means, check out those phone calls.
All right.
And what I found out, Michael, that is really cool. If you're not the kind of person that sits around with your phone on your desk and you miss it, and you're not the kind of person that really wants to have to dig into your voicemails to listen to it, you don't have to. You can just dial the phone number back and it will play that day's message for you. And if you go to their website, myintentionelection.com, all the past calls are archived there. So you can go in, and if you can say, I'm not feeling all that loving today, you can go in and find the calls that are on love and listen to them. And listen to them specifically, or listen to, hey, I missed yesterday, but I want to know what somebody said. It's great. It's really fun program.
That's what's the website again? One more time. My intention.
My intention. Now you're going to make me pull up the thing again. There it is. It might not be on that image. Maybe it's on this one. Myelectionintention.com.
Myelectionintention.org or com?
No, I'm 90% sure it's .com.
Okay. Myelectionintention.com.
All right, let's find out. I have .com on my browser history.
Okay.
And that does go to the site properly. So,
all right, real good.
There you go.
So how do you, as spiritual leaders, though, I mean, that's one way, but how do you handle when you have, well, I'll talk about my issue with this, with, again, people who I love dearly, who are on the other end of the spectrum. And I'm shaking my head and going, how can you logically and spiritually come to the conclusions that you have come to? And that individuals have suggested to me that I just go ahead and block them or have nothing to do with them. And I'm sorry, I love these individuals. I really care about them. And yes, they are short-sighted, but me shunning them is not going to make the problem go away. So that's been my lesson with individuals who have been have interesting opinions, and that go and I say to myself, as a spiritual person, Buddhist, Hindu, Christian, Islam, how can you come to those conclusions for a candidate or a line of thought that way? That's just so to lovingly when
Tis the season.
Go ahead.
'Tis the season to block and be blocked.
La 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 la.
It is the season to be blocked and to block and to be blocked. Because right now, and a lot of people are going to come to forgiveness, are going to get, that forgiveness experience come November, December, January. But right now, I had someone recently try to tell me that they believe, with no real statistics or study, but they believe that 95% of trans teens are only doing it for the free health care that they get under a Biden-Harris administration.
And you have trans kids.
Well, we try not to publicize that.
Okay. Well, still, I'm sorry if
I'm very aware of, that's all right. I'm very aware of the trans, of what some people go through.
Okay.
And even beyond any direct relation. I stay aware of that topic. And if you're going to make up stuff and then promote it as fact and get upset when I might get a little upset at that, then yeah, block me. But here's my suggestion to people in the spiritual world. You can block somebody for 30 or 60, or I think even maybe 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You don't have to unfriend them. You can snooze them, basically. You can block them for a period of time, so that in 30, 60, 90 days, and we're what, 70 days or so, I think?
Yeah.
Right? So if you block them for 60 days, check in for 10 days before the election, and if they're still ranting and raving and being delusional, block them for another 7. Keep an eye on them during election day, and wait for the. See, here's the worst part. The hangover is going to suck.
Okay.
From November to January, the hangover is going to suck, because there are going to be a lot of people whose candidate didn't win.
Okay.
There's going to be a lot of people saying that it was stolen.
All right.
And I'm not talking about either side here. I'm talking about both sides.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be, I mean, I guess this is crazy, but I'm more looking forward to a gracious loser than I am to who wins this thing.
Well, and again, so, Reverend Doctor, so how do you counsel individuals who are coming to you with this kind of anxiety, besides turn them on to the wonderful website that you and the Daily Call? What are some of the things that you would tell them?
If it gives you anxiety, tune out. Don't not vote. Still vote. But if watching the news is giving you anxiety, tune out for right now. Take a break. If Facebook is giving you anxiety, tune out. Take a break. What's jumping into my head is those old phrases by Brene Brown about being in the arena. Not everybody's got to be in the arena. And if you're going to get run over because you're in the arena, if you're not prepared, if you're not in a place of being grounded. So, I get called a lot of names. Surprise. In private conversations.
So do I.
Sometimes even publicly, I get called some pretty bad. I was compared to being a bigger prick than a cactus the other day.
What? Wow. Boom.
Now this is somebody who, I haven't seen any recently, but was quite into the QAnon thing back in 2018.
All right.
And that, oh my God, our favorite despot, wannabe dictator, went on a tirade yesterday, started sharing all kinds of old QAnon stuff. WWG, one WGA, where we go one, we go all, sharing that shit on Truth Social yesterday or the day before. So, if you're not prepared to be in this fight, because that's what it is. As much as we want to come into these things with love and blessings, and I'd love to change the system. I would love to change the system where we're not attacking each other with gross sexual innuendos, where we're not attacking each other by calling names, where the American public doesn't think the way to solve this is take up their guns. I saw a clip. I posted it on my Facebook yesterday, and it's one of these in the man in the street interviews, and this person's interviewing a couple of supporters for Donald, and there's a guy in the background kind of listening in, and unprovoked, this guy from the second row back goes, "Well, Donald Trump loses, there's going to be a revolution." And the interviewer stopped and gets the guy and puts a mic in his face and starts asking him. And this he's full blown. We got guns and we're not afraid to use them. And we got a lot of guns and if Donald Trump, you're telling me 70 days before. So if you can't handle that kind of stuff, you got to stay away. Because your sanity is more important than this election. Your mental health is more important. Yes, I'm going to say that. Your individual mental health is more important than trying to convince anybody to vote for anybody or any specific thing.
And that you are not powerless here is that make sure that you are eligible to vote, and please go vote.
Yes.
Diana and I received the other day from the Secretary of State our absentee ballots. So if we want to vote absentee, we can. We have to send it back into the Board of Elections. It's just that our superpower here is to be able to go and vote. And that, again, make sure that you're registered in the state that you're in. Also make sure that your ID is current. So those things are going to be taken a look at when you go to the polls. So just make sure of those things. Just be prepared. If there's any questions, though, at the day of, call the Board of Elections. Do not, the poll workers are there. They have their instructions. Your beef is not with them. Your beef is with the Board of Elections. You're laughing.
Yeah, because I don't have to deal with any of that stuff.
Okay.
I live in Colorado, man. We don't go to the polls. We mail it in. It's
right.
I haven't been to a polling place in a couple of decades, I think, because you get a notification, however you choose to get your notification, email or text, when your ballot is mailed. If there's a change in your status, you're emailed or texted. So I went on yesterday, checked my status, and it takes 2 minutes to jump on and check your status if you really want to, but you don't miss it. The ballots come directly to your mail. Mm-hmm. They send you a text on the day you should be expecting your ballot.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, guess what? Your ballot should be in the mail today. If you don't see it today or tomorrow, please contact so and so. Okay, that day your ballot shows up. When you drop it off, and I like to go by the box and put it in the box. So I do a drive-by, put it in the box. But I don't have to see a poll worker. I don't have to sign in. I don't have to prove my ID. I don't have to do anything. I just got to make sure that I sign it properly.
Right.
They check the signature. They send me a text when it's been received. They send me a text when it's been counted. I don't understand why so much of the country still feels that they've got to make people line up and stand out in the hot sun to go stand in a booth and check their little boxes.
And
I do know it's called voter suppression.
Right. Well, in some states, I think it's Alabama or Georgia, if you give someone in line a bottle of water, is that you are liable of election interference. It's just this. The bottom line for me is that I'm here, Robert's here. We're here to support us all through this time.
Yeah.
And that we're going to make it here. We're somehow or another, and that this is a time for all of us again to stand and to make our voice heard. And one of the ways that you can make your voice heard is by voting, making sure that you go vote this fall. And I think that that's going to be, we get enough individuals out to the polls where we will win. And so I think that, I
think there's going to be a landslide they want to call it the blue wave. You can call it a landslide. I think we're going to see record turnout. I saw one yesterday. And remember, folks, 85% of all statistics are made up on the spot simply to prove the point of the person speaking, including that one I just dropped. But I saw polling yesterday that we're neck and neck in some key battleground states, this, that, and the other thing. However, I also saw statistics that said voter registration among women of color in those same states is up multiple hundreds of %. Right? So don't be discouraged. Don't trust the numbers. Are only a snapshot of a very interesting and very specific. All statistics are made up on the spot to prove the point of the person that's making the point. Even if it's from a phone-in poll of nationwide voters. They can take 100 voters and say that's their poll. They can take 1,000 voters and say that's their poll. They can take 100,000 voters and say that's their poll. Those things, those types of numbers and things are only used to try and manipulate us. The real metrics show that there is an increased interest in voting this year. It doesn't mean anybody gets to stay home. And truthfully, I don't want anybody to stay home, even those that support the guy I don't like.
Everybody.
If somehow you are a conservative or MAGA voter in this country and you're actually listening to this program, you've actually made it this far, please be assured that your vote counts too.
Absolutely.
Everybody's vote counts. So cast that vote, because if those that are voting for Harris don't show up and Trump wins, well, in some ways that's going to have to be, that's the divine ideal. That's the highest and the best. If that's what happens, I may not understand it. I may not like it, but I might be the one crying in my, well, I don't drink coffee, but I might be the one crying in my copyright Ministers Talking Shit coffee mug.
Which, if you give to New Thought Media Network, we will get you one of those.
Oh, no, these are very, very rare.
Oh, well, okay.
Even you don't have one. And you have a secret concrete bunker.
Somewhere around Akron, Ohio. That is so secret.
I thought you moved it to Toledo.
No, not yet.
No, not yet.
I'm thinking about it.
That's the new one you're working on.
No, I think again that we're all going to get through this, folks, and and again I know our network is here to help support you through the anxiety, and to again, please go on myelectionintention.com, or sign up for. This is your cue to put up the graphic again. There you go. Text to join at 470-784-0250. That's 470-784-0250. Text join, and then you can get on the bandwagon then. And
if you do that right now, you'll get one in about a half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So after any anxiety that we might have created by watching this show, you can go and you can listen, or you sign up now, you get the information, you go to the website, you can listen to yesterday's or today's when it comes through, or I'm reminded through this conversation, Michael, it's kind of one of those funny, pithy little things we say, but everything works out in the end. So if things aren't working out, then it's definitely not the end. We have to keep going.
Yes.
Right? We are creating a world that works for all. This network, the organizations that we work with, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, affiliation, Association for Global New Thought, CSL, Unity, Divine Science International, Hillside, Agape, Universal Foundation for Better Living, Christ Universal Temple, Sunshine Cathedral. I'm sure I'm probably forgetting at least one or two in there.
We have the spiritual leader of Summit CSL, so we have to mention
Yes.
Summit Center for Spiritual Living
Yes.
in Akron, Ohio. So
thank you to the Summit Center.
She is watching. That was one of the perks of watching today, is get a mention. So
thank you for your monthly donation. You're in our thank you video. Thank you for your monthly donation to what we do here at Summit Center for Spiritual Living. And there is, and even in the uniqueness that is all these organizations, we have a unique situation here at New Thought Media Network. We see a lot of content. I see a lot of content. And a lot of people not only are we speaking the same language, we've known that forever. We're not just speaking the same language, but now we're starting to have the same conversations. And we're starting to have those conversations with each other.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And the primary conversation I see, and I'm going to give a little credit to Dr. David Alexander for this, because this is in his new book, The Freedom from Discord, is, you happen to have your copy there. Mine's in the other room, but I have it. And in there, he talks about the fifth kingdom. Now, if you're hanging around New Thought for any real length of time, you've heard of Michael Bernard Beckwith's Four Kingdoms of Consciousness. Mm-hmm. And life happens to me, through me, by me, or as me. And those are kingdoms of consciousness, of who we are. Well, Alexander posits this fifth kingdom of as we.
Yes.
Now, for most New Thoughters, we is a dualistic word, and you're not allowed to say we in a prayer, and you're not allowed to say we because it implies two, and two is different than one, and we're really all one, so there is no we in the mind of God. Trust me, I've had this conversation ad nauseum over the last 20 years. And at the end of the day, we have to start moving into this place of as we.
Yeah, right.
And not just individuals, but organizations.
Absolutely.
I get it. Here's an example. There's this massive conversation going on within CSL with the announcement that that they have pretty much closed the Holmes Institute, and that they are going to refocus their ministerial training efforts on the School of Spiritual Leadership, mm-hmm. while letting go of their individual the master's degree program.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
However, for most people in the field, they do not know what the heck is going on, because they've never been properly educated, either by choice or by malpractice, but have never truly been educated what role the Holmes Institute plays in the organization, or what role Holmes Institute, I should say, played, or what role Holmes Institute played in the greater movement of New Thought beyond just Centers for Spiritual Living. And those that did might be upset, might be mourning, but they're overall okay. I'm seeing a number of people that are like, does this mean I can't go to church on Monday? Does this mean my church is impacted? Does this mean, and people are, and good meaning people, and no, that doesn't mean, this is not what that means. Your church will be there on Sunday. Maybe you can't go on Monday. I don't know if they're open or not. But your church will be there on Sunday.
That may be the minister's day off, but go ahead.
But your church will be there on Sunday, whether it's Summit Center or whether it's North Jersey or CSL Denver or Midtown Atlanta, or any of the communities will still be there. And that's where we're still kind of insulated. there's still a good portion of new thoughters that are more concerned with, am I going to get mine, about the me? And that's, yes, put your own oxygen mask on first. And then, but we've got to get people with oxygen masks on into this fifth kingdom of how do we work together.
And that I see this as an opportunity with, you're talking about, again, the Closing of Homes Institute. I see this as an opportunity for us, again, to take a look at how we train ministers. And I think that since I have, now again, I'm a recent graduate of that program, and I'm telling you that the world has turned upside down since taking that program.
Yes.
And so there's different ways of ministering out there besides getting a brick and mortar church and besides doing pulpit ministry. There's doing this, being on air, being on the internet. There is chaplaincies. There's opportunities to do DEI training. There's all kinds of opportunities and ways that we can get the message out to the world and not have the building, and the building itself is not, that's not the community. That's the place where we have the community. I mean, you can go, and again, churches have shown this. You can burn the building down, but you still have the community. So
we're not advocating to burn churches, folks.
Don't do that. Please do not do that. But I'm
work on your metaphors here, Michael. So I think we need a class on metaphors.
Well, 99.999% of you know what I'm talking about. So.
Yes.
I just think that, again, that the community is the church, and that, the question is, how do we form those communities, and that those communities can also be formed online too. So,
yes. Oh yeah. Okay.
Anything else?
Oh, there's always something else.
Well, some of the things we'll be talking about tonight on the Friday evening fireside chat here on your New Thought Media Network. Myself and Jeff Ratcliffe will be talking about the first interview with the Democratic candidates. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about interesting stories, including one about it was a gentleman who went ahead and he applied for a council position at his town in Ohio, and he was the only one. And he was denied the position because he's gay, and also because of his stance on DEI. So that's going to be an interesting story tonight. So
I want to see those bylaws that allow a city to deny a duly elected candidate from taking office.
Well, again,
there was a vote.
No, what happened is that the individual that the member quit council, and so they had like an open period where people could register and candidate and sign up. So this gentleman was the only person who did that. And so at the meeting in which they were supposed to announce the seating of the candidate, the chair of the council said that we are going to decide upon this gentleman and also 3 others who we have recruited. and they chose one of the people that they recruited. Right. So the individual has said, we'll give you more details tonight on the fireside chat. But the bottom line was that the gentleman says, well, listen, I'm not going to give up here. He is known for his community activism, his community support, and that he says he's going to run in 2025. And so I applaud him. Where this place is called Waynesburg, which is right between Dayton and Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
And that area tends to be very red, very conservative, MAGA, whatever that you want to call it. And so it's going to be very, I may have to go down there and start knocking on some doors again and get, because I think that, again, that, just to tell a candidate that the reason that they're not having them is because of their stance on inclusion and equity, I think it's crazy. of all the things to disqualify a candidate on, you're going to disqualify them on diversity.
Yes,
I don't get it.
That is, unfortunately, I think that is a foreshadowing of what we will see if Kamala Harris is not elected. Unfortunately, I really do. That to me is a foreshadowing of, and there's a lot of people out there right now that are probably saying, good. There's probably a lot of people out there right now that don't realize that, I know there are, that don't realize they're being conned, that they're being lied to and they're being manipulated. I forget the origination of this, but when somebody tells you what they're going to do, believe them. When they say, I don't care about you, I only care about your vote, believe them. Don't blow that shit off as, oh, well, the man's demented. The man is delusional. And it's time that, and even more than, we're not voting against him. But I can't, and this is where we started today, right? I can't imagine how anybody would vote for him other than the top 1%, 2%, 3%, because it is detrimental to our future.
And that's what I was saying is again, taking a look at some very intelligent or who I thought were intelligent individuals going ahead and then making statements like, some of the statements that I've heard about Vice President Harris and also the Governor Waltz, especially about, and one of the things we'll talk about tonight on the Friday evening fireside chat tonight, 8:00 Eastern, 6:00 Mountain on your New Thought Media Network. We'll talk about the discussion about Governor Waltz's military record. That's one of the things that was covered in the CNN interview, his reactions to that. Again,
here's what
go ahead.
If we have work in front of us, one choice I believe makes the work in front of the New Thought movement easier, and one choice means we're going to have to work a whole lot harder and a whole lot more.
Yeah.
Perhaps the easy road is not the most beneficial for the evolution of human consciousness. Perhaps in this case, going the hard road is what's really going to move the movement forward. My humanness wants to take the easy road. My humanness wants to get to work on November 6th, building a new agenda.
Absolutely.
Right.
And again, and reaching across the aisle to individuals and saying, listen, this is not black and white. This is all of us together. This is the United States of America. This is, coming to places of let's have discussions. And the focus groups that have taken part, especially since the election of Donald Trump back in 2016, there have been groups of red and blue individuals,
right,
coming together, sitting down, eating, and having discussions about, and what they're finding out is that they care about the same things.
Yep.
They care about their family. They care about the economy. They care about the same things. So there's a lot more that binds us together than splits us apart. So that's going to be the role of Vice President Harris, soon to be Madam President. That's going to be the role of the leader, is to have a United States of America, for us to start to, and that's another thing that we'll talk about tonight, is that the growing campaign of evangelicals who are for Kamala Harris. Yeah. And so we'll talk more about that tonight. This sounds like one big infomercial for my show.
Yep. That's all right, because we got just enough time before we go. I was checking a feed here, and I want to share something with everybody. I mean, this is, let's say, hot off the presses, because I thought I was supposed to get this before it went public, but it didn't. I didn't. So, come to a party in the desert. Now, I know, Michael, you can't, because you're going to be here in Denver for the theology beer camp.
Right? And
however,
that's an important conference for me to put on my ministerial report every year, that I go to a theology conference.
Yes, I know. And theology beer camp does count. So I'm the one that signs off on that. But I want you to take a look at this, because there's going to be a party at Las Vegas Center for Spiritual Living. If you can join us, folks, October 18th, Friday night, the 18th, and Saturday the 19th, and then Sunday on Sunday the 20th as well. And if you notice, my picture is there as part of the speaker series. Myself, Reverend Dr. David Alt, Reverend Sunshine Day, Reverend Cynthia Ants, Reverend Karen Lindsay, and our dear brother, Reverend Elzia Sekou. We're all going to be speaking during the Saturday event there. So, and Floyd Lula. I mean, anywhere you can see Floyd Lula, it's going to be a good day. So consider joining us for that, folks, in Las Vegas. I think we've done enough plugs for our own stuff today. How about we let everybody in the world know how grateful we are that they're a part of New Thought Media Network before we sign it out of here. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be back in just a minute and wrap this all up. But we want to say thank you to our individual donors and organizational sponsors. Hang tight. Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring. Yes. Thank you to all of our organizational sponsors and individual donors. It is thanks to folks like you that we can take this message out into the world. If you please consider becoming a part of the New Thought Media Network family, head on over to the website, ntmedia.org. Click on that donate button. Make it a monthly donation, and we'll include your name or organization in our next version of the video. All right, Michael, we've done plumb run out of time here. Thanks for being with me this morning. Trust we didn't raise anybody's anxiety level too high, but folks, it's all good. Sign up for the phone calls. Get out and vote. We're making this.
And watch the good news tonight.
And watch the good news.
That's a good thing tonight.
5:00. I'm off tonight, so it's Reverend Barbara Jean will be bringing us the good news this evening. And
how did you get off for the night? Did I okay that?
Yes, you did. You signed.
Oh, okay.
And of course, Michael will be back at 6 p.m. Mountain with the Fireside Chat. Until next time, we want to wish you peace and richest blessings. Bye now.
And thanks for listening to this week's episode of Ministers Talking. We'll be back again next week with more commentary on current affairs, world events, and any other our ministers want to talk about. And if you found value here, please share our with your friends. Until next time, peace and blessings.